we'll talk about what's happening. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Conscription in the United Kingdom. Guys, I believe it's going to be announced today. I've just checked the news. It's not yet been announced. But what do I mean? What do you mean, Raven? Conscription's never going to come to the United Kingdom. Well, let's not think. Let's just say it might. What do we mean by conscription? Do we mean conscription as in a means to force people into the military and then go and fight a war in Ukraine? I don't know. I don't think it will be called conscription. But what I'm going to read for you guys now is an article that was just released this morning. I'm going to keep refreshing this screen because this may actually change while we're on the live stream. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. Conscription coming to the United Kingdom and then migrants forced to join the military. Ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about this last year, wasn't we? Remember last year how we was talking about this and it sounded so wild? Well, I believe today, at some point today, when Rachel Reeves gives her speech, she is going to expand the Overton window and she is going to make, and this is going to happen. So let's just get, in fact, before we get into this, guys, can you do me a real big favor? We're triple streaming this morning. We're on YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on X and we are on TikTok. Guys, listen, I know we're struggling with the chat at the moment. I don't know what this super fan thing is. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I might do a subscribers only video and ask you guys because I genuinely have no idea what this is, what it all means. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's just get on to this because I believe that conscription, the new policy and the foundations to bring people into conscription is going to be announced today. Now, this is an article from Sky News. I'm going to read you it, and then I'm going to give you guys my analysis. Chancellor Rachel Reeves to make case for contribution ahead of youth jobs guarantee. I mean, you can't make it up, can you? You cannot make this stuff up. The Chancellor will make the case for a society founded on contribution. You must contribute to society or you will be banished. In her speech at Labour's annual conference today. Oh, just looking at her face, guys. Looking at her face. She's I'm not going to be negative. Rachel Reeves will stress the need for hard work. You must give hard work and discipline or you will be punished. Rachel Reeves will stress for the need of hard work by a fair reward. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Here's the thing. When she unveils her plan for youth guarantee to drive down unemployment, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you this. You know what? I speculate that I promise you for entertainment purposes that this is going to open the Overton window for conscription. Now, never going to be called conscription. Never in a million years. It's like, oh, Sean, we're not in World War III. Stop it. Stop it. All right. The world is catastrophic at the moment. All right. Wars, rumors of wars, all sorts of crazy shizzles going on. This youth guarantee to drive down unemployment, ladies and gentlemen, this is how it's going to work. I know I keep saying I'm going to read it. This is what's going to happen, all right? They're going to give a guarantee of paid jobs. Do you know what? Have you been unemployed for more than 2 weeks? Don't worry, we've got a job for you. What? Hey, yeah. Hello? Yeah, you've got a child who's 16. Yeah, work. Where are they going? Ukraine. Oh, all right. Here you go. We don't want wars. We want space exploration. So she's expected to confirm. Here's the thing, guys. All right. Rachel Reeves is expected to confirm plans for every young person who has received universal credit for 18 months without earning or learning to be guaranteed an offer of paid work. Where do you think that's going to be, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think there's like hundreds and thousands of jobs as financial advisors, barristers, solicitors, doctors? Look, all the doctors, engineers, scientists, and architects, they've all been taken. All those jobs are taken. These are obviously jobs working for government. The only way you can guarantee this number of jobs, and look, guys, please, if there's a counter argument to this, I would love to hear that. Now, this is expected to be announced today, where young people are going to be offered work. Now, again, it will never be pushed as conscription. They will never say you are forced into the military. What they will do is they'll say, right, okay, so you know when like things get filtered down from the top, it will come down and, you know, they take these first steps. So they say, right, okay, we're going to give everyone a job. All right, okay, yeah, right, okay, we're going to give everyone a job, right, okay. So then you make the policies and you make the legal framework for that to happen. Everybody's like, yeah, we're all going to get jobs. And then they say, we didn't tell you what jobs you were going to be offered in. And then they say, right, okay, if you don't take the job, you're not getting your universal payments. And then they say, right, well, that was in the small print. Right, I didn't see that one in the small print. So now it's going to be the case of, we've got all these jobs. Unfortunately, the only one you qualify for is military service. And if you don't take that military service, we're not forcing you. We're not forcing you, but if you don't take that military service, then you dilly swizzle down the swizzle pipe. Oh, there we go, guys. Listen, I'm reading it. Listen, guys, you know how I give you this real-time analysis? And often, like, we are way ahead of the mainstream. I've not read this article. I've just read the headline. I'm literally, the stuff I just said, and I didn't read about it. Literally, the stuff I just said, it's on the next sentence. Those who refuse to take up jobs without a reasonable excuse will face sanctions such as losing their benefits. So straight away, guys, conscription's here. They're not going to make you join the military. We're not going to make you join the military. No. We wouldn't conscript anyone into the military. But if you don't join the military, you're going to have no money. You're not going to be able to buy or sell anything. You're not going to have a digital ID. And it's, we're going to sanction your parents. Oh, God. Right. So listen, guys, I am going to keep refreshing that screen through the day because like that to me, does anyone else, is it just me, guys? Is it just me or is anyone else seeing that? You know, is it just me or is anyone else seeing this path to conscription? And again, it's not going to be called conscription. I get that, so, you guys were like, Sean, the British government would never conscript people. Yeah, all right. It's not called conscription. For those people like that, you need to keep, just go and watch the BBC and wait for your next job. Right. Also, Shabina Mahmood is saying migrants, and here's how they're going to get migrants into the military. So you see how this is working now, guys. So migrants will have to meet good citizen standard to stay in the United Kingdom, says Shabina Mahmood. Asylum seekers will need to be working. You see how this is all fitting together now, guys. Paying national insurance and not be claiming benefits under proposed changes. I've not read this, guys. I've just read the headline. Listen, guys, let me just quickly caveat. I've got the door open there and I'm looking down the driveway. I've got all the gates open. I'm still waiting for this package. I went today. It's out for delivery. I'm so furious, but whatever. Migrants who want to remain in the UK will have to learn English to a high standard, have a clean criminal record, and volunteer in their community. Yeah, that's not going to happen. In a Labour Party conference speech on Monday today, Shabina Mahmood is expected to set out a series of conditions for those seeking indefinite leave to remain. Asylum seekers will also need to be working. That's the thing, guys. All right. So now let's put all this stuff together like a little jigsaw. War in Ukraine, I don't know. Do we think that's inevitable, that British forces are going to get sucked up in there? Do we think it's inevitable that British forces are going to be involved actively on the front line? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Military generals saying, and again, this was in 2022 that the military was saying this. So in 2022, and it's almost 26, guys. Can you remember? Can you remember the headlines in 2022 when NATO generals are coming out and they were saying, Britain needs to be ready for war in 5 years, all out war in 5 years? Can you guys remember that? Well, guess what? It's 2026 soon, and that's going to be 4 years, and then that time has gone pretty quick. Also, in headlines over Europe, again, you know, it's hitting headlines in the Europeans have been told to make sure they've got stockpiled 3 days food, water, and fuel. You know, nobody's talking about that here. I guess we are kind of isolated. Right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on, can you do me a real big favor? Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you're on YouTube. We'll be on the live stream on TikTok. We're triple streaming. We're on YouTube, X, and TikTok. YouTube, X, and TikTok. What I'm going to do is I will be turning TikTok off, and then we'll be going over and just streaming on YouTube. The reason I do that is because the algorithm absolutely kicks me in the face. You guys know how many times I've been banned, and I can talk more freely on YouTube. But that's what we're talking about today, guys. UK conscription. I believe it's going to be announced in the shadows today. Chancellor Rachel Reeves, she's going to say, we are going to offer young people work, and if they don't work, we won't pay them. Where do you think that work's going to be, guys? Where do you think they're going to get jobs? You know, because, you know, we all know that we've had a sudden influx of doctors, engineers, scientists, architects, poets. Right, let me jump over. Right, guys, I'm just going to jump over. I'm going to get the comments on YouTube. Not YouTube, TikTok, sorry. And then we'll jump over. Listen, guys, I am going to keep refreshing this screen because I know this is going to get announced today. So I just want to, if we're on live while it's happening, that'd be great. But if not, I'll probably do a video about it later. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone who's joined. Martin Quinn is saying morning, all morning to you. Snowdrops is saying morning. So is Lisu. Sharon Owen is saying morning. Martin Quinn is saying yes, it will. In response to the potential. I mean, conscription, guys. What is conscription? Is conscription a way of getting people in the military, or do you have to say this is conscription? Because people are. What I've found is people in general are a bit stupid. And I mean no offense by that. But if you're offended, then you're probably stupid. The best example of this is if you want to find out if somebody's smart or not, just ask them if aliens exist. And if they say no, and if they think you're stupid, then they're probably stupid. It's a mathematical certainty that there is other life out there. It's a mathematical certainty. So if you ask somebody, excuse me, mate, do you think aliens exist? And they go, yeah, like nanu. Then that person, you kind of don't want to get into an argument with that person because it's not worth it. If they respond to you and say, what do you mean by aliens? You know that guy is thinking. You know, and sorry, where was I going? Yeah. So here we are, guys, you know, and you know, just because there's not a government plan called conscription doesn't mean that they're not going to use this legislation, I believe anyway, to force people into military service. Debbie Doobs is saying, hiya. Jules61 is saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Google is saying, I'm not being conscripted anyway. I'm banned from joining the military until 2026. What did you do, Googly? What have you done? What have you done, Googly? Jody Lee is saying, morning, everyone. Mike Quinn is saying, just watch the RAF training Ukraine. Larder flying. I thought it was the Americans that was. Okay. I thought it was the Americans that were training the Ukrainians. Debbie Doobs is saying, my depression is growing daily. Listen, let's just wait until we see this announcement from Rachel Reeves today. That's what she's going to say, guys. That's on the mainstream. I'm looking up the undertones of this and where that legislation leads. Remember, the government. Remember the Fabian Society. It's the wolf in the sheep's clothing. So they are literally looking at you in the face, pissing on you, and telling you it's raining, and you're like, "No, I can see where that's coming from." And they're like, "No, this is rain, and you're far right." No, I can see where that's coming from. It's kind of warm and like salty. No, this is rain. You are a racist. Okay. Go and get your. Okay, I'll go and get my digital light. No, it's rain. This is literally, how on George Orwell's 1984. For those of you guys who have read it, there's like a torture scene. Well, it's not really torture. Well, it is. It definitely is. So they get the main character, and they're and he's saying to him, right, 2 + 2 is 5. If the party say it's 5. And he's saying, yes, but it's not. Torture. No, 2 + 2 is 5. And then he's asking him again, what is 2 + 2? And he's saying, but 2 + 2 is not 5, it's 4. What is 2 + 2? It can't be 5. And he's crying and it's really emotional. And you kind of get it. You kind of get it, don't you? You can see all this stuff coming, but like you're just being told it's not. And if you disagree with it, then you're you're far right. Oh no, Debbie Doobs is saying I just don't see a future anymore. Listen, I for one, I'm excited about moving to Antarctica. I'm excited about moving to Antarctica, finding out my little patch, getting my little patch of Arctic tundra. Going and exploring, finding those little nooks and crannies, making a little home, finding some hydrocarbons, and living in total utopia down there. Lisu is saying, out of everything that's going on at the moment, conscription scares me the most. Well, let's just be clear, guys, all right? I don't think it's going to be called conscription. I will go through that article again, but I don't think it's going to be called conscription. I don't even think they're going to give it a name. I think it's just going to happen. Now we have got precedence of this because these things are happening already anyway, aren't they? We've got the we've got the migrant flights coming in. Nobody asked me if these migrant flights could come in. We've got migrants going into private rented accommodation, taxpayer funded. Nobody asked me for that. There was no big announcement on that. 20,000 Afghans that were fleeing persecution in Afghanistan have come over to the United Kingdom. A lot of them are going back on holiday because they like it more over there. So these things are happening. They're just happening by stealth. And I think this is going to be stealth conscription. Obviously, they're never going to say that it's actually conscription. It will just be happening. And what they will do is they will, can you imagine if you're like, I don't know. I'll come on to it. Let me get the chat comments and I'll jump over to YouTube. I'll get the comments, guys. Martin Quinn is saying there's plenty of aliens on small boats. Martin Quinn saying also take loads of wool and knit loads of jumpers. You will need it in Antarctica. And Dee Marie Gen X is just jumping up and saying good morning. Good morning to you, Dee Marie Gen X. Donna Hogan has become a member on YouTube. Thank you so much, Donna Hogan, for becoming a member on YouTube. I know you're going to be a fantastically powerful contributor over on YouTube. I think I need to do something with it. Thank you guys for all you guys have gone over to YouTube and you guys have been becoming members. Thank you so much. I do need to figure this out. I'm relatively new to this social media stuff. I do need to figure out the YouTube chat and how that's working, because I know they've changed it on TikTok, and I honestly, guys, it's so restrictive. Like the algorithm on TikTok is so restrictive, but the user interface is so good. Like the user interface is fantastic. But I do need to figure this out. Right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are just joining for the first time, I believe that conscription is going to be announced by stealth today. Rachel Reeves to make case for contributions ahead of youth jobs guarantee. The Chancellor will make the case for a society funded on contributions in her speech at Labour's annual conference in Liverpool today. Rachel Reeves will stress the need for hard work. We all need to work hard because there's 100 billion black hole. Honestly, I don't even want to think about Rachel Reeves and her black hole. I'd rather not see that black hole, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. The financial black hole. As she reveals plans for youth guaranteed work to drive down unemployment. Guys, be honest. Where are these jobs coming from? They're going to need hundreds and thousands. Hundreds of thousands. This is coming, guys. This is coming. Okay, let me continue. The Chancellor will make the case. Yeah, we've done that one. She's expected. Here's the thing, guys. This sentence here is going to be, this is the swizzle. This is a swizzle, ladies and gentlemen. She's expected to confirm plans for every young person who has received universal credit for 18 months without earning or learning to be guaranteed an offer of paid work. Those who refuse jobs will face sanctions such as losing their money. So first of all, this is only going to affect the poor. It is. It's only going to affect the poor. If your mum and dad can't support you, guess what? Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Hold check 1, 2. So this is where it comes in, guys. Now, this is going to be, this is going to be brandish. There's a brilliant way to get youth into employment and get youth working. Under no circumstances will the word conscription be used. But what is conscription? Is conscription getting into the military, driving people into the military? Yes, of course it is. They're not going to use the word conscription. What they're going to do is they're going to, and this will get filtered down from the top. So it will come to the top and they'll say, right, we have got 100,000 jobs, vacancies in the military, and we've got 6 other jobs. That's what it'll be. And then the government will say, yes, we're offering work as architects and engineers and scientists and other stuff. We're offering all this job. Oh, yeah, we've got the military. What's that? What's the job allocation? Well, we've got 200,000 jobs in the military, 4 other jobs. What do you mean 4 other jobs? 4 categories? No. 4 other jobs. Oh, right. Okay. Well, make sure they go to DEI hires. The guarantee, which will be overseen by Work and Pensions Secretary Pat McFadden, forms part of a pledge of nothing less than the abolition of long-term youth unemployment. Yeah, get them all in the army. So that's what we're talking about this morning, guys. And then we've got Shabina Mahmood is due to announce that migrants will have to meet good citizen standard to stay in the United Kingdom. Basically, what that means is the migrants will have to get them in the military as well. So when I talk to people about fighting a war on an industrial scale, the numbers here, guys, how I say on other videos, and I've done this to death. You've got two militaries facing up right now. One that is just masses and masses, and I give the football analogy. It does look like people understand that now, and they're understanding that they need to reach that critical mass of manpower because it's not going to be a W. Right, I'm going to jump over to YouTube, guys. There's lots of comments on YouTube. Donna is saying joining the army isn't easy. So many things they check before you even get accepted. Mental health, any slight marks on your file will cause issues. But you know what, Donna? When the government changed those rules, everybody's just gone. Everybody's just gone. Listen, I worked at the highest, I worked at the highest, like the highest levels of government. The highest levels. And I know that if the government wants to change something, they will just change it. So Donna's saying, for example, mental health checks. If the government say, right, we're going to bin mental health checks, guess what? Mental health checks get binned. Nobody checks that. They just go in. Slightest marks on your file. I'm assuming Donna means like a criminal record there. People say, right, we're not going to check criminal records. Get them people in. Because those people, the Russians are using a conscript military, and their system is totally different. It's a totally different system to the one that the West are using. So you kind of don't need it in that context. Kat Hamblin is saying, so the youth and unemployed will be forced into the military to then probably come back injured with PTSD and left to find themselves on UK streets. Sounds about right, Kat. Kat, that sounds about right. That sounds about right, Kat. Donna is saying, Sean, yeah, more than likely all the rules will be out the window. That's when you know they are desperate. Yeah, look, guys, in times of desperality, is that a word? Desperality? Desperation. In times of desperation, desperality. It should be a word. In times of desperation, like Donna Hogan's saying here, in those times of desperation, people do desperate things. And right now, I've been telling you guys, and I've only got access to open source media and open source intelligence. So I've been telling you guys and sharing you guys that the Russians are making ground every day. Forget what BBC and Sky News are talking about. They don't know what they're talking about, guys. I know what I'm talking about in this context. Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. Unless they're saying the same as me, and then they do know what they're talking about. The fact is, this is the fact. Go and look at the war maps. Plenty of them, open source media. You can go and check on it. You can go and look on it. You don't have to pay. Every day without fail, the Russians are making ground. Around 20 square kilometers per day. Now, that doesn't sound much per day, but it's a lot. Over time, the inevitability of time. The Russian military have never started a conflict well, but they always finish strong. Right, I'm going to jump over to TikTok. Guys, I need a wee. Right, guys. I'm gonna go and have a wee. It's just gonna drive me mad if I don't go now. Right, guys, can you wait there a second? We are talking about conscription. I believe it's going to be announced today. I also believe that a framework to get migrants into the military is going to be announced today. And I'm going to put these two things together. I will keep refreshing this screen, guys, because it may even be announced while we're on the live stream. So wait right there, guys. I'm going to go for a wee and I'll be right back. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but thank you for sticking with me for those for that tentative few moments. Martin Quinn, right? Oh, hang on. UK veteran is saying you need to practice your drill, Sean. I can't remember the last time I did. Well, you know, it's over 10 years ago. Like we like in the when I was in the military, we like hardly ever used to do drill, and like the uniforms we used to wear were very suspicious. Jenks is saying you're a natural comedian, Sean. Debbie Doobs is saying, I've never had any financial help. I've tried, but I've been refused. My husband keeps me. Well, you know, fantastic. You've got that situation. Look, guys, just I was going to do a video about this before, and something Debbie Doobs has just said there is, you know, it just like reminded me, you know, like we're supposed to like kick our kids out at like what 16 or 18 or 21 and tell them to get their own place. I think that's bullshit, guys. I think that is absolutely bullshit. All right. If you want to take my advice, keep your kids with you and try and develop generational wealth. Keep your kids with you. Try and pay off your house. Give it to them. They live in their house free of charge, so they don't have to pay bills and mortgage and rent, and you know. And then over time, you can build generational wealth. You know this. Oh, you want to live on your own? Bollocks. I don't know, guys. I was just thinking about it the other day, and I just thought, why do we leave? I mean, I left home at like 16. Rotherham train station at 16 to join. Was it Army ATR? I think it's called Army Training Regiment Lichfield. ATR Lichfield. Start my military career. You know, and you've got to think like, why are we kicking our kids out? You know, surely you want more hands to try and develop that property, and whatever property that is, guys, try and buy it and develop generational wealth. I should probably do a video on that in itself. Martin Quinn is saying, time for a bacon sandwich. Careful, Martin Quinn. Listen, I'm not saying this. Martin Quinn is saying, time for a bacon sandwich. Now, I think that's hate. Is that hate speech? Is that hate speech, guys? Is Martin Quinn giving out hate speech there, saying he's going for a bacon sandwich? I don't know, Martin. You've got to be very careful. You might get the... Hello, Mr. Quinn. Yes, sir. Rumors are you was on social media saying you went for a bacon sandwich. What? Yeah, I did. Right, come with me, sir. We'll have none of that racism. Oh, my God. Sorry, guys. Right, there's lots of comments. Right, hang on. Debbie Doobs is saying, to be honest, that's when families started to break down, when both parents had to work. Yeah, it is. I guess this like comes into what I was, what I was talking about then. Done that one. Bacon sandwich. Jenks is saying, my son was turned down as he suffers from cluster headaches. I don't know what cluster headaches are. Googly saying, sorry, that's when, I must have missed your last comment. That's when we rise up, get rid of mental health checks, and it's over for this government. Daniel Payne is saying, I had 9 convictions before I joined the army. A simple court order allowed me to join at 17. Let me pin this, because when I joined the army as well, so when I joined the army at listen guys, I don't know if you know this. When I joined the army, there were people joining the army to avoid a custodial sentence. So I was there at 16 with all these these hardened criminals, with scars on their faces and really strange tattoos. And a lot of these people, in the 90s, a judge could say, right, it's a custodial sentence, or you join the military. And it straightens a lot of people out. Martin Quinn is saying it'll cost them more in the long run treating their own wounds and benefits. Again, Martin Quinn, we've got to assume here that money isn't a real thing anymore. Money's not a concept. UK veterans saying Sunak tried to tell everybody about conscription during the election. He did. Linda Lewis saying, Sean's going AWOL again. Yeah, I had to go to the toilet. Googly is saying, we need Rishi, man. 5. Boris Johnson, Liz Truss. What's the other one? Go on. Theresa May. 4. And Rishi Sunak. 4 prime ministers the Tories had. Yeah, Rishi Sunak. I totally forgot about him. 4 prime ministers the Tory party had before there was an election. So and people are saying, oh, Sadiq Khan will never become prime minister. They need an election. I'm like, guys, look, do you not? You just forget what just happened. We had 4 prime ministers, 4 British prime ministers without an election. Daniel Payne is saying, when did you leave the army? I left the army in 2011. Sikh community, do this generational wealth is amazing. Ah, right, okay. The Sikh community, not Sikh. Timsky is saying, I'm having bacon and eggs. Guys, listen, you need to calm it down with this hate speech. Linda Lou is saying, that's what the minority community do. My friends, family, put all money. Yeah, guys, look, this myth that look, guys, the crux of this video, guys, is UK conscription. I believe it's going to be announced today via stealth in the shadows. Youth unemployment, and what they're going to say is, right, if you're young, and they're going to give an age bracket or whatever, and you've been receiving benefits for, I think they say 18 months. Excuse me. There's a fly in here or something. Right, if it's a wasp, I'm going to have to go crackers. Hang on. See, I've got the door open, so I'm waiting for a parcel. Jesus Christ, that's a fly. It's just come straight out as well. So I do believe conscription is going to be announced today. Now, this comes from Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, the one with all the money. She's going to say, if you've been unemployed for 18 months, we're going to offer you work. And if you don't take that work, we're not giving you any more money. That's basically what she's saying. Now, Again, they're never going to say it's conscription. It's always going to be, you know, in the shadows. But what I think they will do is they will say, right, we've got loads of jobs. We've got employment as architects, as, you know, council workers, as doctors, engineers, scientists, artists, singers. You know, we're starting a rock band. We're doing all this fun stuff. And we're also doing the military. You know, the jobs for the military are going to be like this. And all the other jobs are going to be like that. Like, you know, the numbers wise. And when you go to the job center, they'll tell you, you know, to encourage people to join the military. Or maybe they won't even do that. Maybe they'll just put those numbers out there and the numbers will work for themselves. But yeah, just talking about this, you know, people are saying here about different communities all putting money in one pot and growing generational wealth. Like, you know, if you own your house, right? You own your house and then you transcend to a beam of light, you know, and because you've had the audacity of transcending to a beam of light, the government wants some money off you. Isn't inheritance tax brilliant, guys? Oh, Sean, yes, I heard your mum and dad have died. Oh, yes. Well, where's my money? What do you mean? Yeah, your mum and dad have. Do you know what? Imagine, right, this is, right, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm going off on a tangent here. You get your kids, like usually little girls have hamsters, little boys as well, I guess, you know. You get like a pet hamster and it's kind of like a starter pet. Get your kids a hamster, all right? Get your kids a hamster. And then when that hamster dies, go to your kids and say, oh, Tiddles has died. Yes, mummy, Tiddles. Yes, mummy, daddy, Tiddles has died. Okay, I want 20 quid. What? Well, your hamster's died. What do you mean? Well, you're inheriting the cage. You're inheriting all the food, all the sawdust, all the little toys that cost a fiver that are just wasted. You know, that's yours now. And I want £20 off you because just reasons. That'd be a good way to explain to your kids inheritance tax. But anyway, what I was going down there is like, you know, if you own your house and then, you know, you pass and you have to, you know, pass it on to your kids, like you've got like, I don't know, 5 kids or whatever, you know, and you're like, oh, I'm going to give 20 grand to that person. And they're not going to do anything with it. It's just going to get wasted. It's just going to get wasted. It's not going to be a life-changing amount of money because it's so diluted. You know, and it just like, you know, people need to start thinking about generational wealth rather than just thinking about themselves. UK veterans are saying May had an election. Yes, you know what? Yes, they did. So yeah. So it's yeah. Sharon Owen is saying Defence Secretary John Healey is saying we need to make Britain more secure. Yeah, I mean, the first thing is, guys, you know, like you can't complain about security if you've got like, imagine, right? Imagine this is a scenario, right? You've got the door wide open, right? And you're sick of people coming in and stealing things. Literally, like you just imagine you take the door off the hinges, right? You just take the door off the hinges. Imagine wherever you live, guys, visualize this, right? This is the country at the moment. You've taken the door off the hinges, right? And people just imagine you've got a shop. I think it's better to have a shop, right? No, we'll go with a house. So you've got a house. You've taken the door off the hinges, you know, and people are just coming in and taking stuff. You know, people are coming in and you're making them dinner. You don't know who these people are. Oh, you're here. Yeah. Do you want a dinner? Yeah, 3 meals. Okay. Anyone can come in. And then you're complaining that people are coming in. but you've took the door off yourself. And to do that, and to deal with that, you're making your kids download an app. And they're saying, Mummy, Daddy, why do we have to download this app? Because people are working illegally and they're coming in here to this house illegally to take food. And you're like, and they're like, yeah, but Daddy, will this app that I have to download stop them coming in? Will you stop feeding them? No, I'm still going to feed them when they come in, but you need this app. That is literally the situation we need. Close the door. Real simple. Put the door back on the hinges. Close that motherfucker real tight. So Snowdrops is saying, I'm sorry, but they don't look after veterans. No, there's no need to be sorry there. You're 100% right. Yeah, you're 100% right. I'm actually a good friend. I've known him probably, I think I've known him 3 years now. Our girls are friends. With Johnny Mercer, he was the last veterans minister. He's a really good guy. He tried to do a lot, but he was just met with brick wall after brick wall. Martin Quinn is saying, hang on a minute. Martin Quinn is saying, get a Muslim mortgage. It's cheaper. I don't know what that means, guys. What is a Muslim mortgage? Like, what's a Muslim mortgage? They all seem to share, put together, and buy them. Yeah, look, guys, talking about creating generational wealth. Daniel Payne is saying, barbell back squat. I think I've seen that. I think I rented that movie once when I was with my friends when I was 18, and barbell squat too. Right, UK Veterans is saying Sharia mortgages, no interest, as interest is against Islam. Well, look, guys, I think that is a good thing. You know, I'll be quite clear. Like, why do we have to pay interest on stuff? Ultimately, like, you know, like, this has happened a few times in the world, and every time this has happened, that country gets invaded. It does. Every time a country tries to do this, it gets invaded. Where the government, I think the man with the mustache in Germany tried this as well. The government said, right, I think, do you know what? It might have been Libya, actually. I think it was Libya. No, actually, I think it was Libya. I think Gaddafi said, right, if you want to get married and buy a house, the government will give you an interest-free loan. Like, why doesn't that make sense, guys? Does it make sense to send billions a year in overseas aid? Does that make sense? Does it make sense to send billions a year in overseas aid? I don't know, maybe it does. Does it make sense for the government to give people interest-free loans? What is the purpose of government, guys? Is it to make people's lives better, or is it to make money? Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be closing this live stream down soon on YouTube. Not on YouTube. We're going to be closing this live stream down soon on TikTok. We'll be then jumping over to YouTube. We are talking about the news of the day, which is Conscription. I believe is going to be announced today by the what's her name? The Chancellor, the finance. What's her name? Rachel Reeves. I believe she's going to be announcing that today. She's expected to confirm plans that every young person who's receiving benefits is going to be guaranteed a place of work, a place of paid work. You're going to be guaranteed a job. And if you don't take that job, you're getting no free money. Where are those jobs going to come from, Rachel? Oh, we've got engineers, scientists, researchers jobs. How many of those jobs have you got? Well, we've got 3. But you've just given me 4 titles. Yeah, we haven't got any jobs in that other one. Oh, what else have you got? We've got 100,000 vacancies in the military. Oh, right. Okay. So that's where I think it's coming, guys. I think it's here. I think you can see it. Also, there's Shabina Mahmood is saying migrants will have to meet a good citizen standard. Now, whatever that good citizen standard is, I think this is also opening the path to get them in the military. So all these things we've been talking about for the last couple of years, I think they're going to be announced today. Now, just real quick, guys, let me refresh this screen to see if there's been any updates on this, because it may have actually happened while we've been talking. Okay, so breaking news, everyone. Breaking news, everyone, from Rachel Reeves. She no longer stands by her pledge not to raise taxes. So you know how so they pledged not to raise taxes. And I'm just going to read this, guys. This is unbelievable. This has just come out now. Rachel Reeves confirms she no longer stands by her pledge not to raise taxes. Again, you know these things that are coming out on the headlines right now? They're kind of old news for us because we've been saying they're coming. Chancellor says the world has changed and the UK is not immune to effects of wars, US tariffs, and higher borrowing costs. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready. Are you ready for a surprise? Look, guys, on that note, just this is not financial advice. I'm not qualified to give anyone financial advice. What I'm going to give you now is life advice, all right? The stuff that we're buying in the shops now is going to be more expensive next year. That's the reality. So if there's something you can buy now before this budget, I think the budget is the 26th of November off the top of my head. Isn't that when Stranger Things is out? Have they done the budget on the same day as Stranger Things? I think there's a conspiracy here, guys. Hang on a minute. Let me check this. "26th of November? No way. They've done the budget on the same day as Stranger Things." No! No! I'm calling bullshit to this. This is a conspiracy. Get your tinfoil hats on. The autumn budget is on the same day as Stranger Things. I don't even know what, guys, that is not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. The autumn budget date, Wednesday, 26th of November, 2025. Stranger Things Part 5 with 2 volumes will be released on November 26th and December 25th. Guys, I don't know about you. Look, guys, I'm putting these. That's planned. That is planned. I'm calling bullshit to that, guys. That is planned. I wish I could just lose myself in Stranger Things and Lord of the Rings. Anyway, right, guys, listen, I am going to be jumping over to YouTube in a minute. I will be closing this live stream down on TikTok. The crux of this video is, well, I mean, we got some breaking news there, didn't we? Basically, everything's going up. Rachel Reeves has confirmed ahead of her speech today at the Labour Party conference that she no longer stands by her pledge not to raise taxes. So, you know how they came out? I'm going to do Angela Rayner. You know how you guys were wanting her to get the sack? I was like, no, don't sack Angela. Please don't sack Angela. She's the gift that keeps giving. You know how Angela Rayner used to say that, Angela Rayner used to be saying, we're not going to tax working people. we're just going to tax them billionaires. No, we're gonna get them billionaires. Turns out, from an article released within the last hour, Rachel Reeves has confirmed they're no longer going to stick to their pledge. Now, remember, their pledge was not to tax working people. So first of all, they destroyed the jobs market. Jobs market destroyed now. First of all, small businesses struggling to get by now. Next line of offense, attack the working people. So now those people who've managed to hold on to their jobs, you guys are about to get taxed a lot more. Hang on a minute. She also backed Keir Starmer's description of Reform UK's plan to retrospectively strip the rights of large number of immigrants to live in the UK as racist. Saying okay. Guys, look, just like by design, any borders control is racist. Unless you let everyone in, like, how is, I don't know, it's just crazy. So that's the breaking news, guys. That's just happened within the last hour while we've been on. Rachel Reeves confirms she's going to raise taxes, and it's not saying it here, but I would speculate that is to working people. So you know what we said? The cost of everything's going to be more next year. Well, I'm gonna double that up, guys. All right, everything's going to cost more next year, and you will have less money. That's going to be next year or after this new tax. We are talking about the news of the day, guys. I think this is going to be revealed by stealth. Rachel Reeves is due to expect, and again, you know, we talk about conscription. She's going to expect to unveil plans for every young person to be offered a guarantee of paid work, and if you refuse it, they're going to take away, you know, you're not going to get any free money. So that's going to drive a lot of people into those jobs that they're being offered. Right, there's a job here in the military. I don't want to take that job. Right, well, you've got no money. Oh, well, take it then. Yes, I know you will. We're not forcing people into the military, guys. This is not conscription. This is not conscription. Danny Boy is saying, morning, Sean, you're on late. I am on late, Danny Boy. I am indeed. I had to go and collect a parcel this morning from the delivery office. I put a note on the thing, you know, that I'll collect it. I went down to collect it this morning. Oh, it's out for delivery. So I've got the door open here. I don't know what's happening to this parcel, guys. Where I live, it's hard to find. I've taken all the signs off outside. So unless you know where I live, you're not going to find it because there's no signs on the door or anything. Has its positives. It also has its negatives when you're trying to get stuff delivered. Anyway, guys, Google it is saying, have you heard her? She says there's more to do on the economy and she's trying to put us into it. Yeah, you just feel like that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I am going to close this down now on TikTok. I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I'm probably going to be on there for a while because I do want to see what's happening with these speeches. And if we can get that in real time, that would be great. If you're not going to jump over to YouTube, guys, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. I'll be back on later on today. I'll keep you guys updated with all the shenanigans that are happening today. But it does look like conscription is coming to the United Kingdom. It's going to happen in stealth. It's going to happen through the back door. UX squaddies, don't laugh at me when I say that. And that does look like it's going to get announced today, guys. Okay, so I will see you guys later. And if you're not jumping over to YouTube, then I'll see you later or something. And we're off. We are off, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm still on you guys on YouTube. Right, I can have some coffee now. I can have some coffee. Right. Right, I'm just going to jump to the bottom here, guys, and get these comments. Paul is saying, at some point... Oh, hang on, that's... Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Sorry, I missed Paul's... Where's your first comment, Paul? Oh, I think that might be his first comment. Right, so Paul is saying at some point NASA have just released... What? What? Is that... What? Hang on a minute, guys. Sorry. If you guys just look at that comment there that Paul's just put up, this is like... if this is happening, I'm probably going to wee myself. Right, Paul, I can't find... I can't find an article with that. Oh, right, okay, I've got it 4 days ago. Right, okay. Right, I've got it here. Give me a second. I'm going to read this. NASA may prepare nuclear strike against asteroid threatening to hit the moon. Once feared to have a 3.1% chat give over. No. Is this Apophis? Right, guys, look, I'm going to read you this in real time. Scientists evaluating whether a nuclear strike could be the last line of defense against an asteroid that might collide with the moon in 2032. Object note, right, let me get this, because I think this is Apophis. No, it's not. You see, that was only... yeah, right, okay. Yeah, so that might be a new thing now, guys. Listen, I mean, look, guys, just quickly, you know, how we talked about this stuff. Space, aliens, asteroids, all that stuff, you know, it's real. You know, I've said so many times we need to stop having these crazy wars on Earth and start, you know, having like going into space. We have got a lot of asteroids heading towards Earth at the moment, and you know, the big one for me is Apophis that comes on Apophis that gets here 2029. We've got this asteroid here that could strike the moon, and people are talking about nuking it. You can see the direction now and that movement of energy towards literally nuking asteroids. Nick is saying, it's BS, people. Are you really believing this Atlas rubbish? Okay, so Nick GB, what do you mean by that statement? Like, Nick GB, what do you mean by that statement? Nick GB, do you think there... Okay, so first of all, what I think doesn't matter, and I always say this, it's the perception of what's reality. Like, if all the mainstream media and we were being shown videos of this asteroid coming and they said it was going to strike Earth, then we would have to believe that it's going to strike Earth, and we would have to, you know, and we would have to react accordingly. So I don't know what you mean by that, Nick GB. Are you saying that there isn't there's no such thing as an asteroid, as the Atlas is not real. Is that what you're saying, Nick? Oh, okay. So Nick is saying it's rubbish. That's what I mean, Sean. Okay, it's rubbish. There's no such thing as an asteroid. It's rubbish. It doesn't exist. It's all fake news. Thank you for that, Nick GB. Thank you so much. Right, good effort. Thank you for articulating yourself in such an in-depth intellectual context that we could all understand. It's rubbish. That's it. It's like yeah, I was talking to this guy once, and we were talking about aliens, and he goes, "No, aliens are bollocks." What do you mean by that, mate? Just bollocks, isn't it? What does that mean? Aliens are bollocks? Yeah, it's bollocks. It's bollocks as in like good, bollocks as in bad, bollocks as in it's not real, bollocks as in you can't contemplate what's happening, bollocks. What does that mean? Mr. Mark is saying, I heard that a couple of days ago, something power on YouTube is the get. Right, okay, we're talking about astronomy. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, let's keep in context the news of the day. Let's keep in context the news of the day, guys, okay? I believe Conscription is going to be announced today. Let me just, I do apologize. I'm going to keep updating this screen because I don't know. She may have actually announced it while we've been talking. No. No, nothing new on that. But guys, look, this is gonna. God, honestly, when I see that picture of Rachel Reeves and her smile, I'm just getting like mass incompetence vibes from her. Mass incompetence vibes from her. She may be a great person. I don't know her. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say that, I'm not gonna say that I know her because I don't. But when she sits there and you've got to think like, how competent are these people making these, how competent are these people making these decisions? Young people who are out of work are to be offered paid jobs under government's new plan. Those who refuse will face sanctions. So that's it, guys. That is literally, and of course, it might not be the first step to introduce military into that framework. They're probably not even bothered about that system working until they say, well, let's introduce the military to this, So do you know what? I'm going to actually say this because of like how slow things are to like how, because they don't want the big headliners, they want to do this the Fabian way. The Fabian was a Roman general who, rather than fight big decisive battles, he would fight smaller battles that degrade the enemy. So step one, get this system in work, get this system in place, get it working, Step two, introduce the military. Step three, push everybody, close the other jobs down. That's where I think we're going, guys. Yeah, Paul is saying, I wonder what Putin is going to announce next week. There's a big speech he's doing. So, I would speculate. Obviously, I don't know what it's going to be about. I'm certainly not. I certainly don't have any friends operating inside the Kremlin. I would say it's got something to do with the war. The Russians are going on. The Russians are in an all-out offensive now. There's no way back for the Russians. No. This is what people kind of forget. Although the Russians are on the front foot in Ukraine, if they're not successful, Russia is over as we know it. It will be absolutely, it will eat itself. It will be balkanized. The only thing that's keeping Russia going at the moment is this war. and that direction of travel. So, you know, and the Russians know this. It will be the end to Putin's Russia, to the Russia that we know today. Obviously, there'll still be a Russia, but that would be massively, dramatically reduced to something like St. Petersburg, Moscow, and then there's that northern region of Arctic tundra where they do like the nuclear testing. I would say that little slither. Oh, hang on. Donna is saying, independent German foreign minister, no NATO member will be left alone to deal with Russia's hybrid attacks. Look, guys, what do we think as a general consensus? You know the storage, facility that got set on fire in Swindon? Do we think that had anything to do with the Russians? The storage facility in Swindon, where they're beginning to build drones, Swindon that is surrounded by multiple military bases. And this is what people, and this is asymmetric warfare, what I'm talking about now. So are the Russians or country X, whoever, are they going to attack you head on? Are they going to go and try and take on, you know, the parachute regiment? Are they going to say, right, where's those British paratroopers? We're going to take them on head to head. No, they're going to lose. What they're going to do is they're going to say, right, where do those guys get their kit and equipment from? Right, this is where they get it. Right, we're going to infiltrate that supply chain, and then we're going to just set fire to it. So we don't have to take them on because they've got no kit and equipment. The same goes to apply for the United Kingdom when people are saying, oh, Sean, are we going to get attacked in the United Kingdom? I say no. Not by missiles, but things will get, you know, things will be set on fire. And we've seen this. We've seen it, you know, on an almost daily basis. So where these, where these military bases have high security, you know, they've got armed guards, they've got CCTV, they've got QRF, they've got all that sort of stuff ready for that attack. You know, the kit and equipment that gets sent to them, oh, that's just on a normal civilian shipping, and that's got no security. So where are you going to go with that? Like, which one of those are you going to make a strike? And again, like, country X, whoever the bad guys are, they don't need to send their best James Bond, no, Yuri Bonsky. They don't need to send their best Yuri Bonsky. All they need to do is pay criminal gangs. And where do we think those criminal gangs come from, guys? We already know that Eastern Europeans operating in hotels have been busted as aspiring. This has happened. It's on the mainstream media. So here's the next question for you guys. Do we think there are any Eastern Europeans working in hotels in the United Kingdom? I would say yes. Do we think any of those Eastern Europeans working in hotels in the United Kingdom have ties back to Eastern Europe? I would say yes. Do we think any of those ties back to Eastern Europe have ties back to Russia? I would say yes. Do we think there are anybody? So now we've got these Eastern Europeans working in hotels, potentially, I don't know, that are potential ties, I've got to say potential, you guys let me know what you think, ties back to Russia. So now these people working in the hotels, next question, do we think that there is anyone in those hotels in the United Kingdom that could be paid to carry out an act of crime? Can you imagine? I mean, look, guys, obviously this digital ID is going to solve all that. Because when the spies come over and they're like, would you like to do secret mission for Mother Russia? And they're like, yes, I will do secret mission for Mother Russia. Okay, I need digital ID and national insurance number first before I can pay you. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's going to stop all this. But yeah. I think that's what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. I would be very shocked if that wasn't happening. Freddie is saying, right. Freddie, can you remind me again the nuclear submarine? Yeah, right. Okay. Oh, 50 minutes ago. Russia's nuclear submarine accident. Vessel's fuel leaks create risk of explosion in the Mediterranean Sea. Novoskaya, a Russian submarine, experienced a critical fuel system malfunction in the Mediterranean Sea, reportedly leaking fuel and posing an environmental and explosive hazard. So I guess that's going on in the Mediterranean right now. Demon Region X is saying, absolutely agree. And Trump saying he's taking the Ukrainian ground back, so Russia has no choice now but to gung-ho on the Tonto mode. Gung-ho it on Tonto mode. I want to gung-ho it on Tonto mode. That sounds cool. Right, hang on. Right, guys, listen, let me refresh this screen one last time, and then I'm going to start, and I'm going to close this down now. Because this is due to, no, there's nothing being, it must be later on today when she's, I don't know what time she's going to be announcing this. When you go to these conferences, there's like speakers, and they always drag on. Look, guys, this is going to be a headliner, all right? This is going to be an absolute headliner. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. In fact, before I go, ladies and gentlemen, can you hit those buttons down below? The like, follow, subscribe, bell notification down there. I try to get live every day at 10 in the morning and every evening at 8. Obviously, sometimes I can't always make those timings, but as much as I can, I'll, I hit those timings. The crux of today, guys, the crux of today's live stream is UK conscription. I believe it's going to be announced today. And it comes as Rachel Reeves is saying, where is it? She's expected to confirm plans for every young person who has been receiving universal credit for 18 months to be guaranteed an offer of paid work. Those who refuse will face sanctions such as losing their benefits. So there we have it, guys, all right? The first step, this is the first step. The second step will then be to introduce the military into that spectrum of work. The third step will be just to push everyone into the military. So you can see now the direction of travel where they're going to be pushing people. Can you imagine if you had digital ID as well? This is only going to affect the poor people. Or, do you know what? Not even poor people. This is going to disproportionately affect poorer people. The poorer you are, the more this is going to affect you. But you know what, guys? Unfortunately, that's the way the world works. Rich people don't pay for anything. And also, Shabina Mahmood is going to announce today that migrants will have to meet a good citizen standard to stay in the UK, probably dragging them into the military as well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. Thank you for you guys who become members. I really do appreciate that. Like I said, guys, I'll be back on later on today. I'm probably going to wait until this is announced, and I'll do a video on this, or I may even do a live stream in the middle of the day of it. But guys, look, does look like conscription is being brought in through the back door.